Welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah.
Today, we're going on a trip down the rabbit hole into Wonderland.
With Alice.
Yeah, with Alice.
Right.
We've got the book itself here, so we can really explore all the twists and turns of those crazy characters, right?
That's fun.
Yeah. So we're gonna go chapter by chapter through the whole thing.
Okay. I'm excited. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland is such a, I don't know, just a really cool mix of whimsy and satire.
Right. It's so weird. So chapter 1, down the rabbit hole. Where does Alice's adventure even begin?
Well, it all starts pretty normal. Alice is just sitting with her sister by the river.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, bored. And suddenly this white rabbit wearing a waistcoat runs by.
Like a vest.
Yeah, like a vest. And he's like muttering to himself about being late.
Okay, so talking rabbit, not so normal anymore. What does Alice do?
Well, she's curious, right? So she runs after him, follows him down this deep, deep hole.
Down the rabbit hole. It's like she's stepping into a dream, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And that takes us right into chapter 2, the Pool of Tears.
Oh, this one's good. So what's down there at the bottom of the rabbit hole?
She ends up in this long hallway, and there are doors everywhere, all different sizes.
Okay.
Then she finds this tiny little golden key, and it unlocks a door, but she's too big to fit through.
Classic Alice.
Right. And then there's this bottle that says, "Drink me."
Oh, no. What do you think she does?
She drinks it, of course.
Of course. Wouldn't be much of an adventure otherwise, so then what?
She shrinks, down to 10 inches tall.
Oof.
So now she can fit through the door, but she left the key on the table. And now the table is miles above her head.
So frustrating. How does she get out of this one?
Well, what does she find?
Another something to eat or drink.
Yeah, a little cake this time. It says, "Eat me."
I bet she eats it.
She does. And you know what happens?
She grows again.
She grows. This time she's so big, her head hits the ceiling.
Oof.
And she starts to cry, making this huge pool of tears.
Poor Alice. So she shrinks, she grows, never the right size, right?
Exactly. It's always changing, never comfortable.
So chapter 3, a caucus race and a long tail. What happens now?
So Alice is swimming in her pool of tears.
Literally swimming.
Yeah. And all these animals show up. They're all soaking wet.
From her tears.
Yeah, from her tears. And to dry off the mouse, he suggests this crazy race.
Or a caucus race. I've heard of those.
Right. Everyone runs in a circle, and there's no winner.
That's so Wonderland. Just pure nonsense.
It is. And then the mouse tries to dry everyone off by telling a history lesson.
A history lesson.
Yeah, but it's super boring and confusing.
Even history is weird in Wonderland. So on to chapter 4, the rabbit sends in a little bill.
Okay, so Alice has grown big again.
Back to Big Alice.
And the white rabbit, he's trying to get into his house, but Alice is in the way.
Oh, no.
He thinks she's his housemaid, Mary Ann, so he tells her to fetch his gloves and fan.
Always getting mistaken for someone else. What happens inside the house?
Well, she finds another drink and she drinks it.
No way. Again.
She can't resist. And this time, she gets so big, she's stuck.
Stuck how?
One arm's out the window, one leg's up the chimney.
What a mess. So how do they get her out?
Well, the white rabbit, he calls for help. All these other characters show up. There's Pat the gardener.
Is he any good at gardening?
Not really. And Bill the lizard, he gets stuck in the chimney.
Oh my gosh. It's just chaos.
Pure chaos.
Yeah.
So finally, they decide to throw pebbles down the chimney.
Pebbles? Why pebbles?
Well, the pebbles turn into cakes when they hit the ground near Alice.
Of course they do. What does Alice do?
She eats a cake and shrinks back down.
Back to small Alice.
Yeah.
Again.
And she runs off into the woods.
Into the woods. I wonder who she'll meet there.
That's the end of chapter 4.
Wow, what a journey so far. Can't wait to see what happens next. Welcome back to the deep dive. So we left Alice running off into the woods. Tiny Alice.
Right, really small.
So chapter 5 is called Advice from a Caterpillar. Who's giving advice?
Well, Alice is walking through these woods, and she's still kind of confused about how big she is, And then she sees this mushroom. And sitting on top of it, there's this, blue caterpillar.
A blue caterpillar?
Yeah, and get this, he's smoking a hookah.
A hookah? What is this, Alice in Wonderland or Alice in a hookah lounge?
Right, it's pretty wild. Anyway, this caterpillar, he's, super philosophical. He starts asking Alice all these questions about who she is. Who are you?
Making her even more unsure about herself.
Exactly. And then he tells her, one side of this mushroom will make you grow taller, and the other side will make you shorter.
So more shrinking and growing. Does she ever stay the same size?
Well, she nibbles on both sides of the mushroom, right?
I doubt.
And yeah, she shrinks and grows some more. Finally, she gets to a size she's okay with.
Okay, good. So, problem solved.
Not really. I mean, she's still kind of lost, doesn't really know where she belongs, even if she's the right size.
Right, right. I guess that's part of what the story's all about, huh? So, chapter 6 is called Pig and Pepper. That sounds crazy.
It is. So Alice finds this house,
Mm-hmm.
and she looks inside, and there's a duchess holding a baby and a cook who's stirring this big pot of pepper soup.
Pepper soup. Sounds spicy.
And then there's a Cheshire cat.
Hold on. A Cheshire cat?
Yeah, the one that can, like, disappear,
Oh, right, right.
and all that's left is its grin.
Creepy. What's he doing there?
Well, the Cheshire cat is always giving Alice these, like, riddles. They never make any sense, just make her more confused.
So, a duchess, a baby, a disappearing cat, and pepper soup.
Yeah.
What does Alice do?
I know, right? It's wild. So the Duchess, she's like really rough with the baby. The baby's crying and sneezing from all the pepper in the air.
Makes sense. Pepper soup everywhere. And then...
Then the Duchess just gives the baby to Alice, like tosses it to her.
What? Why?
Because she has to get ready for a croquet game with the Queen.
Okay, hold on. Things are moving fast.
Yeah.
So Alice has the baby now.
Yeah, but then the baby starts like changing
Changing how?
into different animals.
Shape-shifting baby. Now I've heard everything.
I know, right? Alice takes the baby outside and finally it turns into a piglet.
The piglet.
Yep, a piglet. So she just lets it go. Figures it'll be better off in the woods.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, a piglet in Wonderland, it'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
So chapter 7 is a mad tea party. This one's got to be good.
Oh, it is. Alice finds this table set for tea, and there's the Mad Hatter, the March Hare, and the Dormouse.
All together.
Yeah, they're having this tea party.
Sounds fun.
But here's the thing, it's a never-ending tea party.
Never ending. How is that possible?
Well, they had this fight with time.
Like father time.
Yeah, and now it's always 6 o'clock. Tea time.
Forever. That's rough.
So they're always having tea. Alice tries to join them, but they tell her there's no room.
Even though there are empty seats.
Yep. Classic Mad Hatter logic. And then they start, like, talking in riddles. Nothing makes sense.
Poor Alice.
Yeah, she gets super frustrated and leaves. Calls it the stupidest tea party ever.
Can't say I blame her. Welcome back to the deep dive. So last we left Alice. She was about to play croquet with the Queen.
Right, the Queen of Hearts. That's chapter 8, the Queen's Croquet Ground.
And I bet this isn't your typical croquet game, right?
Oh, absolutely not. This queen, she's a real tyrant, rules Wonderland like a dictator. And her croquet game is, well, let's just say it's unique.
I can imagine. So how does one play croquet with the Queen?
Well, the mallets are live flamingos.
Flamingos, as mallets.
Yeah. And the balls are hedgehogs.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
And the arches, they're soldiers. They have to keep moving around.
It sounds like utter chaos. How does Alice even play?
It's almost impossible. I mean, the flamingos don't listen, the hedgehogs run off, and the queen, well, she's always yelling, threatening to behead everyone.
Behead them. Jeez, that's a bit extreme, isn't it? Does anyone actually win this game?
It's not really about winning. It's more like the queen showing off her power. Everyone else is just trying not to get in trouble.
Okay, so it's all about power dynamics. Interesting. So chapter 9, the Mock Turtle story. Who's the Mock Turtle?
Well, the queen sends Alice to meet the griffin. He's this mythical creature, part eagle, part lion.
Okay.
And then there's the Mock Turtle. He's always sad and crying. Anyway, the Mock Turtle, he tells Alice all about his school days under the sea.
Under the sea. Like a mermaid school.
Not quite. They learned really weird subjects like reeling and writhing.
Reeling and writhing.
What are those? And different types of arithmetic like ambition, distraction, uglification, and derision.
Those sound made up.
Well, they are. But it's Lewis Carroll making fun of the education system, you know?
I see. Like a satire.
Yeah, exactly. He thought they made kids learn all this useless stuff.
Clever. So chapter 10 is the Lobster Quadrille. What is that?
It's a dance. The griffin and the Mock Turtle try to teach it to Alice.
What kind of dance is it?
It involves lobsters and other sea creatures. They have to form lines and change partners. Really complicated.
Sounds like another one of those impossible Wonderland things. Does Alice learn it?
Not really. The instructions are confusing, the music's weird, and the lobsters, well, they don't really want to dance.
Of course not. It's
Oh.
Wonderland. So chapter 11, we're getting close to the end. Who stole the tarts?
Oh, yeah, this one's wild. So there's a trial happening. They're trying to figure out who stole the Queen's tarts.
Someone stole the Queen's tarts.
And they think it was the Knave of Hearts. And guess what? Alice is called as a witness.
Alice, a witness.
Yeah. So this trial, it's just bonkers.
How so?
Well, the evidence doesn't make sense. Nobody knows what they're talking about, and the queen keeps interrupting, screaming for everyone to be beheaded.
Typical queen, right?
Yeah.
So what does Alice do?
She tries to be logical, explain things. But in Wonderland, logic doesn't really work.
It never does. So the final chapter, chapter 12, Alice's evidence. What happens?
Well, during the trial, Alice starts to grow again.
Not again.
Yeah, and she gets huge, towering over everyone.
Bigger than the queen.
I think so. And she finally realizes it's all ridiculous, the whole thing. She shouts, "You're all just a pack of cards."
Whoa. She told him off.
Yeah. And right then, she wakes up, back on the riverbank with her sister.
So it was all a dream.
The whole adventure. But, it makes you think what's real and what's not. Dreams, reality, it's all kind of blurry sometimes.
That's deep. Even if it was a dream, it was a pretty crazy one.
And we learned a lot from Alice, to be curious, question things, and always look for the wonder in the world.
That's a great way to put it. So thanks for exploring Alice's adventures in Wonderland with us, everyone. It's been a wild ride.